Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. I'm the woman of Galatians 4:4 and the woman of Revelations 12. Please refer to your Bible. And all I ask you to do is consider that I am who I say I am. I'm the mother of the New Jerusalem, and I'm the mother that gave birth to newborn King Emmanuel, February the 15th, 2011. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called Black Codes, Martial Law, and Babylon. Black Codes, Martial Law, and Babylon. We have, for the first time in recent history, a mixed president, President Obama. Now, it's amazing to see how the office of the presidency is so disrespected. I have never, and I've got a few decades under my belt. If you're past 30 years old and you're around 40, you understand how the office of the president is respected. Okay? So this office of the presidency is so disrespected by all races, to me, it seems like, that I have never been so appalled at the disrespect of the people who are in America, at their disrespect of the position this mixed president holds. They are disrespectful of the position. Now, this disrespect of the position is the proof of the same disrespect they have for the Constitution when they have to acknowledge blacks are in the Constitution. It's the same disrespect. You have to acknowledge blacks are in the Constitution. So what they tend to do is throw away the baby with the bathwater, throw away the whole Constitution, and by trampling blacks and disrespecting blacks, they throw away the whole Constitution and they consent they don't have no constitutional rights. And the same with this president. They throw away the whole office of the presidency just to disrespect this man sitting in the seat. Okay? What I'm telling you is that these are examples of black codes. Black codes overlook all laws to disrespect black people or who they deem as black people. And we can say it's only black Americans because we know that foreign blacks, usually from Britain or France or another country, are treated different when they hear an accent with them. Not only are they treated different because they are different. They under corporate doctrines like these white people who've been practicing black code so long that they fought their own constitutionality and came under corporate doctrines. Now, someone asked me, did it become automatic under black codes for all white people to become slave owners? And no, what happened was white people themselves consented their own selves into debt slavery under corporate doctrines. So what? Because they was fighting the Constitution. And it all started in 1865 with the 13th Amendment. What happened was, after the 13th Amendment was legislated, some people went back to their states, some senators went back to their states, and then they fought their own suffrage that they had already consented in the Constitution. Because the 13th Amendment was ratified. I mean, it was done. It was no going back. It was already ratified, already done, already constitutionalized. But they went back to their states and they said under their Bill of Rights in their states that they're going to fight their own vote on the 13th Amendment by black codes. And therefore, they're going to try to reinstate what has already been abolished constitutionally. But with the abolition of slavery, it became an inherited right of black people to be free by constitutionality. And so as 3/5 couldn't consent to their own abolishment of slavery, so they had to inherit it. So it was an inherited amendment to them, but it was abolished nevertheless by constitutionality, and they inherited as an inherited amendment. Now, the other part of that amendment was voluntary servitude by consent. And since they couldn't consent, since black people couldn't consent, they couldn't consent to voluntary servitude either, the other part of the 13th. Now, the voluntary servitude sounds a little ominous, but in truth, it's voluntary servitude to serve the Holy Covenant Most High, along with the non-consenters. So it was for holy consenters to serve the constitutional Holy Covenant along with non-consenters. This was Esau's birthright, the 13th Amendment, voluntary servitude by consent to serve the Most High and have the Holy Covenant as being part of your family and your tradition. So the Most High reached out to Esau and tried to grab him again. He reached out to him again and tried to grab him again. And Esau said, no, even though I voted for this, I'm going back to my state because I don't want black people to be free. It interferes with my mental well-being. And I'm going to use the Bill of Rights to impose black codes in a lot of these southern states so we can reinstate a de facto slavery. So it's going to be a false imprisonment and a false slavery because it's going to be a trampling of the Constitution now. So he said, I'm going to go trample the Constitution. I'm going to go trample my own vote. I'm going to go trample my own suffrage. I'm going to trample my own consent to suffrage. I'm going to trample my own constitutionality. I'm going to trample my own inheritance as a receiver of the Holy Covenant. He trampled all that just to institute black codes. And that's when he gave up his birthrights. And that's how Esau did not have any birthrights after 1865 to the Holy Covenant. He became a constitutional bastard. So therefore, Esau is the firstborn and was the first receiver of the Holy Covenant, as the Bible states. And he gave up his birthrights, as the Bible states. He made sure no other white Edomites had any birthrights, because if Esau don't have them, he's the first Edomite. He's the firstborn Edomite. And if he don't have birthrights, that means it's not automated to any other Edomites, no matter where they come from, no matter what kind of privilege they think they have. Esau gave up his birthright. So that means he consented that no one else that's born after him have any birthrights in this American Constitution. And it's 74% white here without any birthrights whatsoever in this Constitution. So what they do is they use the U.S. corporate mule and try to form their own government under corporate doctrines to use the Bar Association, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and the American Civil Liberties Union, and all these legal things, and the hijacking of the judicial system to war against the Constitution that Esau made sure all of them didn't have rights to. See, the Most High said Esau would serve you, and the Most High told you to love your enemies. Because Esau did this for you, black people. He made sure no other white American had rights to that constitutionality once he bastardized himself in it. Because if Esau ain't got it, none of his descendants can have it. So you gotta have it to pass it on to your descendants. Esau is the firstborn Edomite. If Esau ain't got it, none of his descendants have it. So, no, white people can't enslave black people by contractually. What they can do is they can consent to trample the Holy Covenant and the Holy Constitution and And what they can do is practice tyranny, which they have done in every state, every cubicle. They squatted in every state, every cubicle, and hijacked like scabies in every agency, including children's services. And what they do is they just trample the Constitution all day, all night, in whatever they can, which means they trample Christ. The same ones who think that Christ is actually coming for them, they trampling and fighting Christ tooth and nail. They trampling the blood of Christ. They forsaken it, and they turned their back on the Most High. And then they're going to say, oh, you turned your back on me. No, they turned their back on the Most High. So now we have been under black codes and martial law by these heathens pretending they have rights squatting in America just by trampling backs and stealing the black infant birthright wealth. So we've been under martial law of any heathen who came to this country. Any immigrant was allowed to trample us. So we've been under the martial law and black codes of them all along. They don't even respect the office of the presidency when it's a mixed man in there, and he's half black. He's half black, and they don't even respect that. So we've been under their martial law, because if they don't respect the office of the presidency, then that shows and that's proof how they never respect the blacks' constitutionality. So yeah, martial law is not new to us. So black folks don't act like these white folks and acting like martial law is a big thing. They've been shooting us, jailing us. Each one can dig a knife in us as much as they wanted to, in squatting in every state under the corporate doctrine contracts of majority trampling dogs, because they trample like animals. And so therefore now Satan said, okay, you didn't accept God's holy covenant called the Constitution. You didn't accept God's people. So now guess what? Revelation in the Bible said, I'm coming for your souls, those who consented their souls to Satan, just to have their glory, to trample blacks and to practice martial law. You got no immigrant group came to this country was ever hardly charged with displacing blacks from neighborhoods, trampling them. You even got Latino cops shooting blacks whenever they get ready. You even got Latinos like George Zimmerman, that's not even a cop, putting black codes on black people. Italians, Irish, Chernobyl, burning you out of your neighborhood. They burned Nat King Cole out of his neighborhood, and the record Route 66 say I'm 1866 with enforcement nationality in all jurisdiction. In other words, this is my land, Route 66. And they burned him out of his house. And these are immigrants who Esau made sure never had any constitutionality. So you had Esau serving Judah, because the Most High in the Bible said Esau would serve his younger brother Jacob. And so Esau served Jacob whether he wanted to or not. He made sure no other white Edomites or the tabernacles of Edom had any constitutionality whatsoever. So all they did was serve Satan, and Satan is coming for his souls. So move out the way, because martial law is Satan, the balance of the cosmic. Martial law is Satan putting everybody under martial law. And yes, blacks going to get caught up in the tribulation. Many of them will be caught up in the tribulation, but that's nothing new, because we was always caught up in the tribulation. We're going to be caught up in the tribulation. Now here's a clue that I'm telling you. Those who have ears, let them hear. Those who have ears, let them hear. In the beginning of this thing, I say I gave birth. I gave birth to King Emmanuel. And I said I gave birth to him February the 15th, 2011 in Alaska. Okay? That's the New Jerusalem capital. It was born in between the 13th and 14th Amendment in 1867. It's protected by the 15th Amendment. If you have ears to hear, and this is only for a select few, because most of you don't have the brains to understand what I'm saying, or you don't want to accept that one of your own can be chosen to give you this message. You better get your ass out of Babylon. I know, and I'm telling you, and if you don't believe me, You better believe the Holy Covenant Constitution. Alaska was bought in between the 13th and 14th Amendment because it was meant to be with you blacks. Get your ass out of Babylon. Get your ass where that Constitution says you should be. Alaska is in between the 13th and 14th Amendment. You on your own. I'm just giving you a suggestion. I'm not responsible for your whole life. If you're an adult and you can hear and you can understand your resources, that's between you and your God. I'm just telling you, the way out of Babylon is Alaska. Your life is in your own hands. That's the disclaimer. This is Mary Omni. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.